Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Holly and I'm a small artist here on YouTube, currently in the process of setting up my own small business called The Toasty Tiger. In today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a little sketch with me kind of session because I've never done one of them before. I've wanted to do one for a while, but I just find the idea of capturing my entire painting / sketching process quite daunting because I'm by no means perfect and I still have tons to learn when it comes to different techniques. But I just thought, it's a sketchbook, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if it works out, it works out, if it doesn't, it doesn't, and it's all about just trial and error. So yeah, I recently purchased some alcohol markers for the first time, so I was very keen to try them out. I really wanted to get the Ohuhu brand, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not 100% sure, which everyone talks about, but it's almost impossible to get the markers shipped here for some strange reason. Like, to the UK, it's just, or at least where I live, it's just not easy, and it can get very expensive very quickly. But I also thought, since they're more expensive, it would be good to try out a cheaper brand first and see if I like using the medium or not, and then maybe invest in the better ones. So I decided to try out fairly simple shapes so I could focus on the colour and colour theory. So I chose to paint some oranges from a reference picture I found on Pinterest. One of the things which drew me to using alcohol markers was that I thought it would be a faster and more approachable medium to use than paint. So making the marks would be quicker and I could get my ideas out faster. I just want to say that I'm really sorry that I haven't posted until now. I have genuinely wanted to come back sooner and talk to you guys again and share more about what I've been getting up with, or up to. I can't speak. Every time I have gone to sit down and record a voiceover for this video, and I recorded this video footage I think in like January or February. It's been a long time. And life just kept getting in the way. Like, there's so much I want to say, but I just feel like there's just certain things that I just don't feel comfortable sharing on the internet. Just, you know, like really personal things. I can kind of like, you know, roughly say some things that happened. Like, I had to leave my barista job in December last year, and that was really hard for me because I really enjoyed it. I loved making coffees, I loved being, well, not entirely outside all the time because it was absolutely freezing during like winter, but basically I lost more than my job in that experience, so that was not fun, but I just don't feel comfortable delving into that. So part of me after that, for some reason, because it was quite a big deal to me in my personal life, I just didn't feel like I had the same motivation to sit down and make videos, and it took me, I think I just got so out of the habit that I just tried to prioritize my mental health and like getting back on my feet. And then after leaving that job, I then picked up another one, which at first seemed like really, really good and a really positive thing, and I was really, really happy. I felt like I could really connect with the people I was working with, and then that kind of went downhill and I ended up leaving that job as well in July there. So it's been a whirlwind of emotions, and I just felt like in that particular job, the second one, which I'm talking about, which I had like from February to July, that it was sucking the life out of me slowly, like in terms of management, which I feel like is the case for a lot of people in jobs, but when it starts to decline your mental health and take over your life or where your job kind of seeps into your life and your personal life, and it feels like you can't leave it behind when you go home, that's not healthy. And I just had to make a decision, like, is this the be all and end all? Do I need to stay here? What's more important to me? And I realized that amongst everything, I was neglecting what my YouTube channel and like what I really want to do. So in a nutshell, a lot has happened and life has been lifing, as they say. And I sound like extra emotional right now just because I literally just finished a film there called, probably a lot of you have watched it, I had never watched it before, called The Dead Poets Society, I think it's called. And yeah, it's sad, so I've just come away from it feeling a little bit more emotion. So I'm trying to keep upbeat. It's not all doom and gloom, but I want to be like real with you guys, and like there's so much I want to say, but I just don't currently feel comfortable like, talking about it all, maybe one day, but yeah. On top of all that, for people who have been following my channel for a long time, like you'll know that I have been in the process of launching my small business for ages, and for some reason it's felt like every time I'm about to do something big or make a big decision that like things keep happening in our lovely world right now where it just feels a bit like, what the heck is going on? Like, I wanted to launch my shop, and just when I had built up all this momentum about doing it, it was when all this craziness of like the tariffs coming from America, and I was already super stressed about how I would go about shipping to America because of like, VAT or tax or all those kind of things that happen with postage. It always feels very daunting. And then there was a whole change to selling to Europe because of changes in like product safety rules or something, and it just made life even more like confusing as a very new small business. So it just felt very, very overwhelming, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that has felt like this. I'm just very like confused and stressed out and overwhelmed about like all the decisions, and like worrying about like if you're going to be doing it the right way or if you're like doing something wrong. Like it just feels very, what is going on? So those are kind of like the main big things that have happened, and lots of wee things in between, but I am determined to come back, and I don't want to say this, but I just feel like part of me was like, the longer I was away, the more I was like, this is very silly, I know, but it was kind of like, does anyone actually miss my videos? Like, does anyone enjoy them enough? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like a sense, I was going in this vicious circle in my head of like, if I come back, are my videos interesting enough? Are they good enough? And I mean, I feel like that's a thought that's been going through my head since I started, and it's only natural, like as a very creative, artistic person, to kind of like, you are putting yourself out there and you're putting like a huge amount of yourself in your videos, so it does feel like I feel at the time when I first started, I was like constantly checking. I think it's very natural for this to happen, like constantly checking the numbers, constantly checking like, oh, how's the video doing, all this kind of stuff. And I feel like that is very detrimental. Like, you should go with the flow and just be like, right, I'm doing this because I enjoy it and I'm putting it out. But eventually it does take a toll where you realize you're putting hours and hours into everything behind the scenes, and I think I just started being really hard on myself, and then being away from it for a while, and then looking back and being like, wait, hold on, some of my videos actually did really, really well, or like in the time frame, and I shouldn't be so hard on myself. Like, I'm speaking from like very personal point of view, but like I think I was definitely being too hard on myself, and I'm kind of want to go into this again and just kind of take the pressure off and just be like, I'm doing it because I love it and because it's what I want to do, like full time. So if you're here with me and you're listening this much of what I'm saying and you're enjoying it and everything, like, you're the real MVP. Like, I'm really thankful for you being here, and I'm so thankful for your patience, and I really hope that I produce more things that you really enjoy and that you feel like, you know, I'm just trying to keep it real. One of the huge reasons why I wanted to start a YouTube channel in the first place is because I felt like all my life, throughout school, throughout, well, it's a huge chunk of everyone's life, but like, I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are, as Fantastic Mr. Fox puts it, like, we're just a bit, woohoo, like, different. And I just want to like create like a space for those people that they feel welcome, they feel like they can be themselves, and that they feel comfortable and have like a laugh or a wee cry together, or, you know, that we just feel like, you know, understood. I think that's the main thing. So if you feel like you vibe with, you know, me as a person, I am really thankful for that, and I hope that I keep putting out things that feel like you can really connect to and feel, whether it's like inspired or understood or any of those things, like that is like, that's the goal for me. I really, really, really love that. Some of the, like, the fun things that have happened in the time frame that I've been away is I did Pilates. I started Pilates for the first time in my life in a studio near from where I live, literally like walking distance from where I live, which is incredible. So I did Pilates in a studio from January to July there. And I found it amazing. Like, I loved my Pilates instructors. I looked forward to it. I did like twice a week. I felt like such a huge difference in my strength and like my comfort in my body, if you know what I mean. Like, I felt stronger, and I really love, like, it's like a relaxing exercise, but it's also, it really pushes you mentally as well at the same time. I don't know how to describe that, but it's literally, I loved it, and I'm hoping to continue trying to do lessons at home, like just on a mat, like following YouTube videos, because the classes are so expensive. Like, that was one sad thing about it, is that it is not cheap. I sadly had to give it up, but I will continue on the mat, hopefully. Another cool thing is I've started that I did not know that I would ever be into, and I always kind of was like, why is anyone into this? But bear with, maybe you'll have the same reaction that I did when I first heard of the thing, and I was like, what? Basically, I started D&D, which is Dungeons and Dragons. You may or may not have heard of it. When I first came across it, I just thought it was like weird. Like, I was just like, what is this? But actually, it's really, really cool. My husband basically started going to the local boards game cafe and made some friends there, tried D&D for the first time, and he ended up kind of making some friends there, and then he joined a Discord of them, and then it ended up where they invited me to the Discord, and then I was like, okay, like, what's the harm? I'll join. And then we basically have all become friends. Like, I became friends through my husband to them too. So it's been a really, really lovely thing to happen. Like, I also had no interest before in Dungeons and Dragons. I always thought, like, what is that? I didn't really understand what it was about, but I gave it a chance after seeing Cameron like get so excited about it like every week and hanging out with his new friends. So I basically decided to sign up for a D&D campaign, and I had literally went in not really understanding that much about it, and I've made really near and dear friends, and I have genuinely got so invested in D&D now. I didn't expect it of me. I didn't realise just how creative it is and how much, like, I mean, I'm by no means good at acting or any of that stuff. Like, I don't have an acting bone in my body. But the amount of like role play you can do during the D&D campaign and creating characters, like your own original characters, it genuinely just sparks so much creativity in me. Like, I've ended up writing so much backstory for this one character that I created called Lunara Eldoin, and she is an elf. I should say she's an elf monk with elemental powers. And if this means absolutely nothing to you, I completely understand, because it all just sounded like crazy before I ever tried D&D. But there's so much opportunity, like during a D&D session, to just completely get invested in the story, invested in your other characters that you're playing with, and to really live out in like a really free and fun way, like what your character sounds like, what they do, what they would do in certain situations. Like, it's so fun, and I highly recommend it if you've never tried it before, and I'm loving it. And I'm so thankful for the people that I've met through the Discord that my husband brought me into, and I feel like I've made like friends that I hope to have for a very, very long time. So yay. So there is some good that has happened, trust me. So yeah, if you're interested in that, maybe I can talk about it in another video, but I'm not sure if everyone's into D&D or not, so yeah. The last kind of thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys is a pretty huge life update that I have gone through only very recently, and that is that I was diagnosed with inattentive type ADHD. I didn't know whether to share that news with you guys just yet, as it is still all very fresh to me. I'm still very much processing it, and there has been such a huge stigma around the topic in the media recently in particular. So it kind of put me in a position where I was like, I don't know whether to even touch on it, but I felt like it's a pretty big thing, and I just need to talk about it, and maybe someone else is going through that or has gone through that that's listening. And the thing with ADHD, which I don't know about you, but like it's constantly on social media and it's talked about so much recently, with like people claiming that it's overdiagnosed, but a lot of health professionals actually say that it's both the most over and underdiagnosed condition or mental health condition. But like the reality is it took 30 years for my diagnosis to come about. I am someone that slipped through the net all these years, wrongly misdiagnosed with anxiety and depression, when instead they are symptoms of my ADHD, which I have come to realise, and slowly trying to like work through that. I was probably misdiagnosed because I wasn't like a stereotypical like young boy who couldn't sit still and jumped on the walls and was like full of so much energy that like the teachers got really fed up with him, and that was like an obvious case of ADHD, and yeah, I wasn't like that. The problem with the inattentive type, which like I did not know what any of this was until only in the past very recent years, that inattentive ADHD is very different from like the hyperactive kind of ADHD that we like as a society have kind of come to know or recognize way quicker or more quickly. So yeah, it's a lot more common in females, because we're really good at masking the issues or the problems we're facing more so than males, generally speaking anyway. I would say that the particular symptom of it, which I have long struggled with, is the overwhelming, paralyzing inability to start tasks, even the most, in quotations, simple of tasks. Not because I didn't want to do the thing, I desperately wanted to do the thing, but because it felt completely and utterly overwhelming. I will no doubt go into all of this very soon in another video, but it's funny to me that in an earlier part of this video, which I started recording the voiceover for a while ago, I talked about feeling like I wanted to make content for those that feel a bit different or odd. Little did I know that the reason for feeling that way my entire life was my ADHD. Yeah, so anywho, I am so excited to be back on YouTube again, and I cannot wait for what 2026 has in store for you and I. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this more casual podcast style of video, and if you have any exciting plans or goals or dreams for the new year, I would love to hear about them in the comments. I really love hearing all your thoughts and ponderings. So yeah, peace out, and I'll see yous or talk to yous very, very soon. Bye.